I've got Zach with me and Tom on the phone. Hello, you guys.
What's happening?
You guys, you guys are you're being touted as the dads that broke the record, is what they're calling you.
Dad bodies.
For sure.
Right?
That's for sure.
The longest hockey pass of all time.
Yeah, just humble brag. Longest ever recorded in the history of the world.
Okay. And Tom, you were the recipient, if I'm right.
Yeah, I had to chase that thing down, but obviously by the time it arrived to me, it was barely moving because we were trying to get an inch out of the deal. But
exactly.
No, it was an honor to be on the receiving end of that long pass as well.
Now tell me how it went. You guys got a couple of practice rounds, and they didn't go so well.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to start kind of from the beginning.
Yeah.
And give you a little origin story. So I went out, the lake I live in Detroit Lakes, and so I drive around Detroit Lake every day. And in the fall of 2017, I noticed that there was ice forming with no precipitation.
Okay.
And Tom, I know that's a big word for you. Precipitation is wet stuff that comes out of the sky.
Thanks, Tips.
Yeah, thanks. So I noticed that the ice was freezing and there was no snow, and I skate a couple times a week back in Detroit Lakes with my buddies, and I love to shoot from everywhere on the regular rink. So I figured, why don't we go out and, it's like a bucket list thing, right? Like how far can you bowl it? How far can you curl a rock? How far can you hit a golf ball? And for me, we was just kind of like, hey, let's go shoot a hockey puck and see if we can, get it 200, 300, 400, 500 feet, which at that time I felt was a long ways. And Ian Fritz, he's one of the owners of SSQtch Productions, is a DL native, and they came out with their cell phones and just took some photos and some video, and they said, hey, we have something here. And then it turned into a full-blown production, which you see in that first video from 2017. And then, Tom and I are old friends, and I think we talked a little bit about this before. I mean, we've been friends for 18 years, and, when you're friends that long, I mean, we've built a great bond over the years, and we talk a lot about, business and family. And so when this came up, it was just a natural fit to have a, ex-NHL guy who, I kind of forget that he played hockey when you're friends for that long, right? And you guys are in your 50s, right? So it's a little, and he won the Cup in '95 with the Devils, and so it was a natural fit, and obviously his on-air presence with FSN and everything. So it was a natural fit for him and I to just try it again if we could find the conditions. And SSQtch submitted the video in November of 17 to Guinness, and then Guinness, they created a category in like spring of 18, and so then that was basically green light to go do it again and make it official.
Okay. And so let's get back to what I was asking you before. So you're on the ice and you get a couple of practices.
Yep, get a couple practices. Tom and I, we've skated together over the years, and it's so much fun to get out there. And Tom, you can talk a little bit about your childhood, with being on Lake of the Isles after I'm done here quick. But yeah, we just went out and started shooting 400 or 500 feet. We thought that would be the record because it hadn't been set yet. And, the video that we did the year before was unofficial. Yeah. And it was edited and all those things. So when Michael showed up from Guinness and said, we're going to use your last 894 pass as a baseline, things got real. And we realized, holy cow, like we've been practicing at 400 or 500, and you only get 3 attempts at 894. And if you don't hit them, you're done. I mean, that's the requirement that's set by Guinness. So it was great, and we hit the record on the first attempt. And
but Tom, those first few tries, were you doubting that it was going to happen? Because they weren't making it even close.
Yeah, we had, as Zach mentioned, when Michael from Guinness showed up and let us know that they had decided basically overnight to use the previous unofficial, pass as the starting point, and we had a surveyor on site that had procured, and he had been out kind of measuring off different distances, like probably 200 feet and 400 feet and 600 feet, and then And then Michael shows up and says, well, it's got to go close to 900 feet. And so we sent the surveyor down, and all of a sudden he just kept going and kept going and kept going. And now he was far away from where we were standing on as the starting line. And then Zach, and we had walkie-talkies because we were so far away from each other, 3 football fields, that we couldn't communicate that way. And so the officials had walkie-talkies, and we were going to have to declare which one was, when Zach was going to try and make an attempt. And prior to that, he was trying some sort of warm-ups and practices. And literally the first couple, 2 or 3 maybe, were not getting, they were probably still 100 feet away, I would say, or maybe, somewhere between 50 and 100 feet away, which seemed like it was going to be a stretch. And then we heard on the radio, this will be the official try. And, on that try, he got all of it. And I could see that about halfway or 3/4 of the way that it still had, good speed on it. And I knew we were probably going to set the record. And then it crossed that line. And, it's kind of a funny thing when just all of a sudden in an instant, it was kind of a silly, kind of not goofy, but just kind of a lark. And, but all of a sudden we were Guinness World Record holders, and it was just kind of fun, and we celebrated as, 2 buddies would do, kind of just a fun thing to set out to try, and then we accomplished it.
Nice. And you, so Zach, when you finally did the try, did you feel the adrenaline kick in, or were you like, well, we haven't been close, so this may be another try?
I mean, I could have easily been doing the rubber chicken over the puck with, with the short notice, it kind of, it basically doubled in length, Yeah. And so, there's some fundamental factors that go into keeping it low and keeping it flat. And, it was great. And I didn't feel very good. I mean, I didn't get into one the night before, so I wasn't like hungover or anything, but I just didn't feel, it was really cold. And Tom looked like a little person from that distance. I mean, it was like, holy cow, this is real. And you have to aim, because there are certain parameters. You can't just throw it down there and have him chase it down. And so, it was cool. It was a little nerve-wracking, but like Tom said, it was really exciting when we got it done with.
So you said there's a few parameters. What are the parameters? How close do you have to keep it to where Tom is?
Sure. Why don't you jump in on that one?
Well, I think one of the things that they mentioned besides standard or approved equipment was that the ice had to be level, or if it was any sort of a slant, which you wouldn't think happens on a rink or on a lake. But that's kind of why the surveyor was there too. They were just looking for any advantages that would be in our favor that they wanted to from the attempt. And then
the stick had to be weighted.
Wanted me to,
the stick had to be weighted. Tom was 25 feet from the puck when he caught it from where he started.
Okay.
I had to hit it from behind, so we had one ref with me, one ref with Tom. The Guinness proctor was with Tom on the other end, and then we had witnesses there, and they weighted my stick, and the puck had to be regulation. I had to hit it from behind the line.
Did you have to keep it within like 10 feet of Tom or something like that?
It was 25 feet from Tom.
Okay.
So he had to skate over to grab it. So it wasn't like we just threw it down there and he could go grab it from anywhere. So they were, the Guinness guy was there to regulate, and make sure it was legitimate.
All right. So you guys are now record holders. Do you get something when you become a record holder other than that really cool plaque they give you?
Honored to be sitting with you right now.
Yeah.
Get that?
Wow.
Right? Tom and I get...
There's a shovel in here that Zach needs, I think.
Tom's just a legend down at the Loon, so we might get a free drink down at the Loon.
All right.
We get a plaque, and my 7-year-old thinks I'm a hero, so it means a lot that my kids got a chance to kind of see their dad out there doing something kind of cool. So.
Right. Well, Tom, I appreciate you calling in on the phone, and Zach being here in person and talking about this. This is great.
Great to be back in Duluth. Thanks again.
My pleasure.